This time we are going to continue with where we left last time. And last time we spoke about learning and learning methods. And in particular, we spent a lot of time in adult learning methods and learning through experiences. And today we are going to take this journey forward by looking at uh, what learning styles does it give, and why is it important to know the learning styles of a particular person. So one question I have for the group, you had so many questions. So do you think learning style exists or not? Yes or no?
Some says yes, some says no.
Okay, 50-50, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So those who say no, what is your reason for saying no?
Arvind Kumar says no, so maybe he can answer.
Okay, Arvind, let's hear you. Why do you say no?
Then learning style exists, but totally like a lot of times we conclude by saying this is a preferred learning style for this person. A person usually learns from the way he is taught. Like in the childhood, we are given a lot of experiences, and through experiences we learn. We are given cognitive knowledge, and through that cognitive knowledge we learn. So even in our adulthood, when we go for different types of learning, we can learn the same thing with the methods which are available to us. Sometimes we learn the same thing using experiences, and sometimes the same thing can be learned by us through gaining knowledge through books or through some journals or through simulation. So I guess learning style is more of like what is available to us. And we can learn from all the learning styles. But yes, there are different approaches which we call as learning style. This is my understanding.
Okay.
I think we have created a mental model of these learning styles somewhere, and we have to get out of this mental model of where we are actually trying to conclude on and judge that this is the learning style and this has to be there, otherwise it will not be, the knowledge will not be passed on to the learner.
You come from an utopian world. So, yes, Pankaj.
Hello, ma'am. Very good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So in this context, I would like to say, yes, they exist. We can take example of the Tare Zameen Pe, where student is unable to listen and to learn what the teacher is going to elaborate. But at the same time, when Amir Khan entered, so by the using of visualization, actually doing that, or at the same time, by the fact of music and by the effect of experience, so he could able to understand that particular style and gain the momentum to learn the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice. Yes, one or two more responses and then we'll go forward.
Ma'am, good afternoon. I'm Wing Commander Jyoti.
Yes, Wing Commander Jyoti.
Ma'am, it has been scientifically proven that some people are auditory by nature, and some are better at experimental things. So for the various people, the learning style definitely differs.
Thank you. Yes. Anyone else?
We have Malhar.
Okay, Malhar, and then I'll move forward.
Okay.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, I believe learning styles do exist, and it is important to have learning styles because you cannot, five fingers are not the same, and you cannot put everyone on the same playing field. So when you're a trainer and you expect someone to grasp whatever knowledge you're imparting, you need to melt yourself into their learning styles, how each individual learns. You need to create a balance between everyone else's learning styles and so that whatever you teach or you train, it reaches the maximum people. So I believe learning styles do exist, and it's important to understand what they are and how people. It's very important.
Great. Okay, so I'm moving forward with the question that what is your motivation for learning? So those who couldn't answer last time can now answer. What is your motivation for learning?
Arun
No more.
Saluja.
Huh.
Yeah, so I would say that not able to relate to this question, but I can comment on the previous one.
Mm.
So
Okay.
so talking of the learning style, it surely exists. So I come from a consulting background where we do a lot of learning program for different organizations. So different trainers have a different style, right? And that is why we see that every training is not everyone's cup of tea. So in the recent example, we were doing some work with some IT organization, and we had a trainer who was not very intellectual in as a stylist, as a learning style delivery. And otherwise, he was a good trainer. But the expectation of participant coming from the engineering background was something very different. So he could not really connect. So there was a invisible wall which was created between the trainer and the participants. So yes, I totally feel that learning style exists, and a good trainer can really modify his or her behavior according to the style or the
Teaching style.
teaching style of the participant. That is what the need of an hour is. Yeah.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay. So what is your motivation for learning? Now I'm on this question. What is your motivation for learning? When do you feel motivated to learn?
I have Rohit there who wants to answer.
Yes, Rohit.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
So, ma'am, for this question, I would like to take an example. This is related to lockdown. Okay, we are at home. We are not doing anything. We are at home, and in this period, we crave for like food. Like we want to have our favorite food, right? So, for
Good
example,
one.
I like momos. Okay, so I don't know how to make momos. So what I started watching YouTube videos. So I learned how to make good momos. So food was a motivation for me to learn something new. So you get different motivation, maybe food, maybe technology, maybe new gadgets. So with the help of these, you get motivation.
Great. Wonderful example.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
Good
Ritu.
afternoon. Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah. Ma'am, to me, it is a very interesting question because it actually drove me to thoughts what actually motivated me to see all these presentations of ISTD. So once I started it, it was that, yes, I want to do training, and that was the thought driving me. But then I was looking these presentations, every time I was feeling something is new is added to me, which was relevant for me. So then something for me actually drives me. That is the only thing which I judged.
You like to learn new things.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
My name is Parveen Vasist, and what motivates me, it's like I want to help people to de-learn de-learning so that they starts learning new things. The process of their learning has stopped. So I want to help those people to de-learn and then learn new things so that they can move upward in their career, future, or in social life.
Wonderful. Yes. One last answer and then we.
Shivani.
Shivani. Okay.
Ma'am, my motivation for learning is when it is participatory and it is supported by lots of real life examples.
Life examples. Okay. Great. That's
Yes,
it?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, learning is the process, Kolb said that learning is the process whereby knowledge is created through the transformation of experience. And what is a learning style? So a learning style is the characteristic strength and preferences in the way that learners take in the process, in and process information. So how you take in information and how you process the information. So you rightly said that there is not one theory of learning styles. There are many competing and contested theories that aim to account for differences in individuals' learning. The differences may pertain to various elements of the learning process, such as taking in, comprehending, memorizing, recollecting information. And many theories share the proposition that humans can be classified according to their style of learning, but they differ in how the proposed styles should be defined, categorized, and assessed. So there are like there is the theory of intelligence, then that is Howard Gardner's. Then there is experiential theories, David Kolb. Then there is the sensory modalities, that is visual, auditory, reading, kinesthetic model of Fleming and Mills. Then there is cognitive styles and psychological types, in which those of you who have done Myers-Briggs type indicator, MBTI as it is popularly known, are aware of the different learning styles of individuals based on their personalities, of how they take in and process information. So what are effective learning processes? Many observations suggest that the learning process is most effective when it is in line with our learning style preferences. And I think you have already given an example where in the IT, and then you gave that Tare Zameen Pe example. From a practical standpoint, it is useful to know which learning methods are likely to be most effective for us to help us acquire knowledge quickly and effectively. As an educator, being aware of the learning style generally
Hello.
So I quickly shift and I come to learning styles. And learning styles are various approaches to the ways of learning. They involve educating methods by which an individual learns the best. Factors which influence a person's learning style are birth to adolescence. I think this right in the beginning, someone mentioned this point. Birth to adolescence, development of basic abilities and cognitive structures, then what kind of specialization you go through in schooling, early work, personal experiences of adulthood, and development of a particular specialized learning style shaped by social, educational, and organizational socialization. And then mid-career through later life, it is an expression of the non-dominant learning style in work and personal life. So I think the first point which the participant had raised, who had said, no, I don't believe that there are different learning styles. Basically, he was talking about life cycle. And it is true that there are learning preferences, but as a person goes on in life, these preferences start getting integrated into the experiences of a person, and a person's is able to, I won't say that a person is able to change his dominant learning style, but is able to expand his life to also assimilate by different methods. So both answers were correct, yes and no, in my opinion. Now, the learning modalities, which all of you have heard so many times, was given by Brook and his Bob and his colleagues, which is called as the visual, auditory, and the kinesthetic modalities. And the visual people like to learn through pictures, shapes, sculpture, paintings, whereas the kinesthetic people like to be involved. They like body movements, object manipulation, positioning, gestures, and the auditory people by listening to rhythms, tones, chants, etc. Now, Walter Brook Bob and his colleagues, they said that modality strengths can occur independently or in combination, although the most frequent modality strengths, according to their research, are visual or mixed. They can change over time and they become integrated with age. That's the point the first person was making, where he says that it keeps undergoing a change. They also pointed out that learning modality strengths are different from preferences. A person's self-reported modality preference may not correspond to their empirically measured modality strength. This disconnect between strengths and preferences was confirmed by a subsequent study. Nevertheless, some scholars have criticized the VAK method. Now, Fleming added one more dimension to Brook and his colleagues' method, and he added social learning as the fourth dimension. And visual, you already know, we have spoken about it. This is charts, diagrams, essays work best for visual learners, illustrations, diagrams. Auditory learners, they are linear thinkers, and they prefer listening to information rather than to read it. And when it comes to studying, an auditory learner might remember materials best if they talk about it to someone or they recall a conversation about it. Like for instance, some people, they prefer to read stories, and some people like to go to YouTube and listen to the story. And kinesthetic learners are the types who like to do it. So, you know, like my brother used to make fun of me since you spoke of momos. I generally have, you know, I'm not, I was a good cook, but now I become very wary of entering the kitchen. But because I used to cook in the past, so if you have made something which I like, I'll ask you in great detail about, you know, how you have made it. And then my brother would make fun of me and say, why are you asking this question? Because you're never going to make it. You're not going to be a do-it person. है ना? And so I used to say, नहीं, अपनी theory पक्की होनी चाहिए. So at a cognitive level, I wanted to know. But at a doing level, it was not something that unless you give me a good incentive and motivation that I was going to get into it, right? So that's a kinesthetic learner. And then, of course, is reading and writing learner. You would have seen many children, they read aloud while they are studying. And they also like it when someone reads aloud to them. And then, you know, like, people like to write. So, you know, they will copy down from the book, write it many times. So they like the reading and writing approach. Now we come to Kolb's learning style inventory. Now, what did Kolb say? If you recall, he had a learning cycle and it was a 4-stage cycle. He said that there is something which is called that a person has a concrete experience. He reflects upon that experience. He draws principles out of that experience, which is called abstract conceptualization. And then he actively experiments. And when you go through all the 4 stages, it is called experiential learning. There is no number 1 at any stage. You can start anywhere. But when you complete the cycle, we say that you have completed the adult learning cycle. So experiencing is when the activity occurs. Sharing is when the reactions and observations are shared. Analyzing is when patterns and dynamics are determined. Inferring is when principles are derived. And applying is when plans are made to use learning in new situations. Now, according to Kolb, the ideal learning process engages in all 4. We said this last time also. They form a learning cycle, and in order for learning to be effective, Kolb postulated all 4 of these approaches must be incorporated. Now, he says that experiential learning module, it talks of 2 related approaches. One is how you grasp the information. So he has taken on an axis. Grasping he has taken as concrete experience and abstract conceptualization. That is how you grasp the experience. And then how do you transform the experience? He has taken reflective observation and active experimentation. So what it really gives us is a 2x2 matrix, and it gives us 4 different learning styles. So let us see these 4 different learning styles. This is the matrix that it gives us. The active experimentation and concrete experience. It gives us an accommodating style. The details of this we will just go through. The doing and thinking is called as the converging style. The watching and a concrete experience is called diverging, and watching, that is RO, and AC is called as assimilating. Yes, Gauri, you have a question. Gauri, you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. Let me allow her just a moment.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, Gauri.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I just interrupted in between because I was not able to speak up. So I just wanted to check that.
What?
I
Ma'am,
think
my
she
voice.
accidentally. Okay, ma'am. We can move further. I think she like raised the hand accidentally. So.
Because I was not able to. I think my voice was not going right.
Okay, so I'm going forward.
Yes, ma'am.
So now let us look at people who learn by concrete experience. These are the hands-on people, and people who learn through reflective observation, they need to reflect on their experience. So whenever you ask them about something, they will always take time before they will answer you. And then we come to abstract conceptualization. We said we give it meaning, and then we come to active experimentation. That's an easy one, so I'm not going to repeat it. Now, this gives us a matrix. And this is the matrix which I was showing to you, which talks of from concrete experience to abstract conceptualization is the perception continuum, and active experimentation to reflective observation is the processing continuum. So let's look at it at the different styles that it gives us. So the converging style, the diverging style, what does it give you? They are good at reflecting, brainstorming, they are imaginative, people-oriented, and sometimes have difficulty in making decisions because they are diverging. They are able to come up with a number of possibilities. So a diverger always asks the question, why? What's in it for me? Learns by seeking out meaning, connects to values and emotions, seeks outcomes and interaction, builds rapport, sells the idea, and personal and HR managers are mostly in this diverger group, and or trainers or motivators. So they like to create experiences and help people to reflect on those experiences. Now, then we come to assimilator. They are good at abstract concepts, comfortable in classes that lecture about theory, often maths, physics, chemistry, and majors. So assimilating is they look for a logical approach. They require clear explanations rather than a practical opportunity. So they are basically, according to me, they are your theoreticians and they are very good at making models out of anything on earth. So these assimilators, basic question is what? What are the facts? And they learn by thinking through ideas. They seek facts and impressed by research. They want to know what the experts think. They reflect on ideas. Their usefulness is generally irrelevant to them. They are very happy, even if it's a good theory or a good concept which is shared with them. Will it be useful? Will it be practical? Not a concern for them. It's for the next group. Information junkies, teach it like it is. So they are your planning people, your research personal people, and the trainer role or the teacher. Then we come to the converger. Now, what does a converger do? A converger can solve problems and will use it to find solution to practical issues, because this is where you have abstract conceptualization and concrete experience. So people with converging learning style are best at finding practical uses for ideas and theories, like our Momo friend. So he found a theory and then he put it to practice. They can solve problems and make decisions by finding solutions to questions and problems. People with a converging learning style are more attracted to technical tasks and problems than social or interpersonal issues. A converging learning style enables specialist and technology abilities. People with a converging style like to experiment with new ideas to stimulate to work with practical applications. So convergers always ask the question, how? How does this work? And they learn by testing theories. They need to know how things work. They seek usability. They want exercises and feedback. They want an explanation, and their training style is coach facilitator. Then we come to accommodator, and this is the section between concrete experience, active experimentation and concrete experience. So these are the people who are your hands-on people. They are attracted to new challenges and experiences, and they are commonly act on gut and instinct, rather than on logic and analysis. So these are the typical kind of people. If they have to set up a new computer or if they have to set up a machine, they are less likely to read your manual before doing it. So they are going to figure it out. And this learning style is prevalent and useful in roles requiring action and initiative. People with an accommodating learning style prefer to work in teams to complete the task. They set targets and actively work in the field, trying different ways to achieve an objective. So they ask the question, what if? Where can I apply this? How is it useful? So someone said that I want to learn and I am motivated to learn so that I can help people to learn. They learn by trial and error. They seek hidden possibilities. They welcome self-discovery. They even ask the question, how can I make money out of this? And their trainer role is that of colleague, and marketing and salesperson are good at this. So this is just to summarize the experiential learning cycle all over again, that concrete experiencing, specific experience related to people, they are sensitive to feeling, they are aware, open-minded, adaptable. Now, reflective observation is watching, listening, viewing from different perspectives. They make careful observations before making a judgment. Abstract conceptualization is analysis, logic, ideas, intellectual understanding of a situation, systematic understanding. And active experimentation is practical approach, getting things done. So the quadrants, when you see concrete experience and reflective, is the Y quadrant. And research has shown that 35% of the people, they lie in this quadrant. The observer and abstract conceptualization is the what if quadrant, sorry. And 22% of the people lie in this quadrant. The abstract conceptualization and active experimentation is the how quadrant, and 18% of the people lie in this. And the concrete experience and active experimentation is the what if quadrant, and 25% of the people lie in this quadrant. So last thoughts on learning styles. The aim is to make students self-renewing and self-directed, to focus on integrative development, where the person is highly developed in each of the 4 learning modes: active, reflective, abstract, and concrete. Here, the student is taught to experience the tension and conflict among these orientations, for it is from these tensions that creativity springs. Because we have to help a person to go beyond their preferential learning style. Now, the central practical applications of the theory include a consideration of teaching methods that are particularly valuable at a particular stage of a cycle. As a facilitator, I would say that one should start with the preferential learning style of the person, get the person hooked on, and then take the person through the other stages of learning. The conclusion is that take full account of the range of learning styles that any class or group of students will exhibit. Recognize that I have a teaching and a learning style. And is it that I'm dumping my teaching style on the student? And that is why we have student dropouts. And then we label student and we say, ye to gadha hai, isko to kuch aata nahi hai, so on and so forth, because koi aisa hota nahi hai. Then apply the idea of constructive alignment, allow for different learning styles, Plan to take juniors around the learning cycle several times during the growth stage. Give as much attention to what the junior will do as what you are going to do. Now, of course, we are not doing group work. So I just lastly want to show you that Peter Honey and Alan Mumford, they adapted Kolb's experiential learning model, but they applied it to the managerial world. And they also got 4 styles. And they said it was the activist, the reflector, the theorist, and the pragmatist in the organization which exists. So all of us have a preferred learning style. And what is your learning style? You can go on to this website, which I'm reflecting to you. You can take the questionnaire, and the interpretations are also given. This link I've given over here. Otherwise, you can simply write Kolb's learning style, and some of you may have already done it also. So I think it's already 3 o'clock. So I end with the last question. Do you think that learning about learning helps to become a better learner? About your own learning style, do you think it helps to become a better learner? Yes, Harpreet.
Yes, ma'am, you are right. Actually, the learning about learning helps like one to become a better learner, because once we get to know what are the learning styles, we'll be better able to learn the things and try to educate that type of learning style to the trainees also. Because yesterday, whatever you you were showing in the presentation, yesterday when I was completing my assignment, so I was going through the Kolb's part also, that Hamford also, and even Greg also. There were various types of models, and we were having assignment related to that. Depending upon the what is the type of the relationship between the learning style and the training methodology.
Correct.
So I was just revising it. I was reflecting back to it. What I did, simulator, converger, diverger, और वो accommodator क्या करते हैं, and what, because learning what type of training they are also do. This type of training was learning about
Harpreet, we're not able to hear you clearly.
helps to become a better.
In fact, I could not.
Hello.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, surely learning about ourselves and what is my learning style is definitely going to make me a better learner. In the sense that once I know that I am a visual learner,
Ritu, we can't hear you properly. Hello?
Is it okay now?
No, there's an echo happening, I think, on your end.
Okay, so then maybe pass it to someone.
Arvind?
Hello, ma'am. Arvind once again. I think learning about the way we can learn things better definitely helps, and this is the reason why the career counselors nowadays, they have find so much space, and the way they actually make things easier for us. Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
The way these career counselors, they make things easier for us is they actually go through psychological tools and they identify the learning styles we are, the ways which will actually enables us for a better learning, and accordingly they tell us this is a good career or this is a good subject you should go and learn. Before even if you go for an admission in any premium colleges nowadays, it has been a very normal practice to go through some sort of psychological tool where they'll identify your learning approaches and a lot of behaviors which will help them to teach you in a better way. It applies in the industries also. Organizations, they are actually using a lot of psychological tools to identify how they can make their employees better. So I think yes, definitely it is very important, and this is the reason why it has actually started getting so much importance in the education sector as well as in the organizations.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else? Yeah.
Now, broadly, when we have, there's a conclusion which is said that we remember by doing. So in any case, whatever style we may have, but at the end, learning by doing is something which, remains with you and is retained also in our memory. So in any way, irrespective of whatever learning style we adopt, I mean, we possess, but the methodology of going through an experiential kind of a learning in any way would be more dominant and will have more lasting impact.
For you?
Be it for anybody, I mean to say. Any person who, because that's the saying, you tell me and I just forget. But if I do, I remember. That's a very common saying,
Actually, that's what this learning styles is about, that it's not the same for everyone. A concrete experiencer and a active experimenter would definitely speak the language you are speaking. But there would be others who would say, if you look at the education system, of course it is evolving and changing now. It is more about पहले तुम सीखो, किताबों से सीखो, फिर उसको apply करो.
Right, theory and practical, that's what it is.
Yeah, so it depends. Some people, they will not move to action at all. Like if you see the quadrant between RO and AC, the people who fall over there, they will reflect on their experience, they will draw a conclusion out of it. I gave you my own example of cooking. I will ask what, why, how, I will get the theory of it, but I'll never move to action in that realm. But in something else, I might move to action. So, so it depends. Different people learn differently. And being aware of this, then what it does is it helps us to reflect on ourselves. And as we grow older, also to be able to say that, yeah, but I'm not doing it. I better do it. I better experiment. And why am I not experimenting? Why am I not gaining experience? So that way. So it depends. Your language is the typical language of an experimenter.
But ma'am, broadly, unless you don't do it, I mean, you will never know the pros and cons. I mean, how can you know or learn driving unless you don't drive? So in any case, whatever learning style you will have, okay. But at the end of the day, you have to do it. Without action, though, it's not possible. So learning by doing at the end will dominate your learning.
Yes, that is correct. And that is why if you look at the table which I showed you, the maximum number of people, if you recall, were in that quadrant only, 35 and 25. ये देखो, maximum people
yes.
That's
right. Yeah.
And the non-doers and all, they were lesser in proportion than.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you.
Yep. Yes. Anybody else?
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, hi.
Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Parveen Vasist. I do agree with that. It will definitely help. Like in the starting, I told you something what motivates me, and in the same quadrants, I'm an accommodator and I'm into sales and marketing. So it is like very obvious to see that result also.
Very nice. Good that you could relate it to your own style, no?
Yes, ma'am. It's very nice, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am.
We should thank Cole.
No, for me it's you. I'm getting through you, ma'am.
Okay. So should we call it a day, Kaushal Saab? It is already 3:10 in my watch, so.
Yeah.
I have nothing. Ritu, and last question.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yes, Ritu.
Okay, great, ma'am. In fact, I also strongly believe that learning about yourself will definitely help us to we tend to know what the learner more I can give, learning other methods like auditory or tactile. And I would like to add to actually my colleague Divya actually was talking about the learning by doing. Like there are now in corporate world millennials who are very fast. So if I think of these people, they're very fast. So they don't like doing much and spending time. They want to fast visualization for a best outcome and find a result. And if we think of mathematics also, like in concrete, children are not given something to do.
Ritu, we have lost most of the part.
Okay. So,
Ma'am, if you're able to hear, then you can answer her question.
No, I can't. No, that's the problem.
Okay, then have a nice day.
Maybe we keep it for next time, Ritu.
Yeah,
We'll start with you. Hannah?
Great.
Yeah. So thank you for all your